Hey everyone, my name is Gabriela Cartagena. I'm a full-time student at UMass Boston. I am the marketing director at UMass Boston Students for Sensible Drug Policy, alongside with being the creative director and administrator, one of the administrators at the Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council based in Cambridge and Boston. And the third organization I'm a part of in relation to cannabis is eatme.land. And eatme.land is just a art from tech collective where we want to give local artists a platform to sell the art while paying techies. Yeah, so I'm participating here at the Harvest Cup because Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council actually came to do a mini panel discussion in regards to the current regulatory changes in relation to the marijuana law here in Massachusetts. And what we're advocating is to encourage other community members, business participants, emerging businesses to stay connected with their local governments and the state government, since it's so vital to be part of these town hall and city council discussions in regards to these developing law. You know, if we're not there to voice our opinions and our suggestions for the law, then who's going to hear us? Currently, in these local town hall hearings, we've been noticing that the opposition has such a strong hand and has such strong control with those government discussions. And it's very important for us as consumers, as entrepreneurs, to show up and give this other side of the story. The side of the story of, people of color who are being currently incarcerated, and the fact that, we need low barriers of entry to escape this awful cycle of poverty and, incarceration as being, a person of this color. It sucks how we're targeted, but as targets, we have to use our position to speak for those who don't have a voice. Thanks for asking that question. So it's very upsetting and irksome seeing a certain population gain the most out of this emerging industry. And those who are gaining the most out of it are people who already have money, those older white men in business suits making the most money, while people who look like me and are darker are still incarcerated without, having their records clean. Something that's already legal and having a record follow you for the rest of your life for something that's already legal is unfair and holds back a whole community from, becoming entrepreneurs and, doing basic things like applying for affordable housing and public housing. And it's just unfair how this community, these people who have been trialed in the past, how their past is continued still being followed. And it's very important for us to show up to these local town hall meetings where this special interest group are proposing their business plans, these dispensaries are proposing their business plans. Meanwhile, communities like Dorchester, which are minority-majority communities, are not being represented at these local town hall meetings. What we see in these local town hall meetings are the opposition raising their voice, raising their opinions on their reefer madness influence and what they don't want to see in their community. Oh, I don't want this pot shop next to my house. No one really wants a pot shop next to your house, but think of the benefits that will come with that pot shop. Think of the people who have been hurt by what is now legal. We need to bring, if these dispensaries come to our communities, we need to be aware what they're proposing for our communities. Right now, under legislation, there's something called the community host agreement. And what this community host agreement does is kind of force a emerging marijuana business to create some sort of contract with the community, like saying, all right, our memorandum will be, you have to hire X amount of local employees from our community, or you have to give X amount of percentage back to social justice programs, or you have to give X amount back to, the school systems. And it's very important for us as community members to, see past this reefer madness and understand the benefits that could come with dispensaries and other marijuana businesses. It's very important for us to keep those people that have been hurt the most by the war on drugs and make sure that they're being benefited by its revenue and its profits. Yes, I am a student. I go to UMass Boston, and it's my 4th year right there right now, but because I'm doing a few majors, it's taking me a little longer. University, it's not a 4-year plan. It's a 4-year plan if you're dedicating 100% of your time to it, but it's very important for us to engage in our community, and if that means, sacrificing a little time here and there, then well be it, because if I'm not doing it, and if you're not doing it, then who's gonna do it, We need to speak up. Why did I start? It actually has to do with school at the same time. So I went during my middle school and high school, I participated in the Boston public school system. And I attended Boston Latin Academy, which is like the #2 public school in in Boston. And what I noticed is that Boston Latin School, which is the #1 school, they would have students that were caught with marijuana, but as their punishment, they were kind of like degraded from being in the #1 school to the #2 school, from Boston Latin School to Boston Latin Academy. And those kids who were getting suspended and sent to our school, I noticed were, predominantly Caucasian. I was like, whatever, cool, we got more students. But here's the catch. When people get caught with marijuana in my school, they'd end up just dropping out. Their punishment was not being degraded into the 3rd best exam school in the Boston public school system. Their punishment was just completely being expelled and not given the chance to go to that, the next best school. And Boston Latin Academy, at that moment that I was in that school system, we were deemed the most diverse in Massachusetts. So with that connection, you can already assume or make guesses that those students who are getting caught in my school were students of color. So the fact that these students of color weren't getting the same benefit as these Caucasian students from the #1 school is what upset me the most. And seeing those students who used to be my really good friends going from just selling DIMs to being kicked out of the Boston public school system, and to, I'm not even joking, I found out one of them was selling coke. That's an issue. That's where the violence starts to get rough, and it's just not fair to see a certain body of students get a better second chance than those students who committed the same mistake to being downgraded to not having the best second chance. And yeah, it just hurts. Those are my friends. So this event is not only benefiting us, but as MRCC, as Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council, the nonprofit we're currently representing today, we don't want the Harvest Cup, we don't want our panel to just benefit us. We want this to benefit you, we want this to benefit the community. It's not just a us, you thing, it's a us, you, and everyone else thing. It's a three-level set of communication, and it's very important for us to start the communication, because if we don't, or if the other company doesn't, or if the other NGO does not, then who will? Yeah, awesome. Well, just to close off, thank you MassCanRev for interviewing all of the MRCC board members. We really appreciate this, and it's very important to not only spread the word of our business, but it's very important to spread the word of everyone's work. We're all in this together, and without us, how can you be you? Without you, how can we become us? So it's very important for us to just work with one another and start creating dialogue, start creating conversations, start to continue conversations. We can't just stop. We need to continue. This is a fight for everyone. This is a fight for entrepreneurship. This is a growing industry, and there's so much you can do with this. And thank you, MassCanRev.